Hey everyone, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. We're really glad you're here.
Today we're talking about something all of us understand, no matter where we come from.
Relationships.
Friendships, family, love, coworkers, all of it.
Yeah, because life can feel so much lighter when our relationships are good.
And so much heavier when they're not.
Exactly. And today, we're also going to teach you some very natural English idioms people use when talking about relationships. These are everyday expressions, and once you understand them, you'll start hearing them everywhere.
So this is going to be personal, cozy, and useful.
The best kind of episode.
Let's start with this. Have you ever met someone and almost immediately, everything just felt easy?
Like the conversation flowed, the jokes landed, and there was no weird tension?
Exactly. In English, we say, "We got on like a house on fire."
That means two people connected really well, really fast.
Right. If I say, "We got on like a house on fire," I mean we became comfortable with each other very quickly.
And I love that idiom because it sounds dramatic, but the meaning is actually very positive.
Yeah, it means the chemistry was strong. The connection felt natural.
Maybe you've had that with a friend, maybe with a teacher, maybe with someone at work, or maybe with a person you met once and somehow talked to for 3 hours.
Those moments feel rare.
They do. And when that happens, we often think, wow, this is going to last.
But relationships are interesting because a strong beginning doesn't always guarantee an easy future.
That brings us to another idiom. Go back a long way.
This one means you've known someone for a long time.
Like, me and my best friend go back a long way.
Or, those two go back a long way. They grew up together.
And sometimes, when we go back a long way with somebody, we assume the relationship will always stay strong.
But time alone doesn't protect a relationship.
That's so true.
You can know someone for 10 years and still slowly become distant.
Not always because of one big problem.
Sometimes it's just life, stress, different priorities, miscommunication.
Or maybe both people still care, but they stopped really hearing each other.
And that leads us to one of the most useful idioms in today's episode. Get your wires crossed.
This means to misunderstand each other.
For example, "Sorry, I think we got our wires crossed."
Maybe you thought the dinner was on Friday, but I thought it was on Saturday.
Or maybe the misunderstanding is deeper than that.
Yeah, like one person says, I need space, and the other hears, I don't care about you.
Or one person says, "I'm tired," and the other hears, "You're not important to me."
And then, suddenly the problem is not only what happened.
It's what each person thought it meant.
That happens all the time in real life.
Especially when emotions are involved.
Because when people are hurt, they don't always listen calmly.
They listen through pain.
There's another idiom connected to this. Get the wrong end of the stick.
Which also means to misunderstand something.
Like, no, you got the wrong end of the stick. That's not what I meant.
And honestly, so many relationship problems begin there.
Not with hate.
Not with bad intentions.
Just with misunderstanding.
And then pride shows up.
And suddenly, nobody wants to slow down and say, hey, maybe we're reading this situation differently.
Now let's talk about emotional distance. Sometimes, when a person has been hurt, or when they no longer fully trust someone, they don't completely cut them off.
But they stop letting them get too close.
Exactly. The idiom for that is keep someone at arm's length.
Which means to keep some distance from a person.
Maybe you still talk to them.
Maybe you're still polite.
But you're careful now.
You're not fully open.
You don't tell them everything.
You protect yourself a little more.
And a lot of people live like that, without even realizing it.
Yeah, they say, everything's fine.
But it's not really fine.
It's just colder.
That's such an important difference.
Now let's lighten it a little and talk about affection. There's a very sweet idiom in the article. Have a soft spot for someone.
I love this one.
Me too.
If you have a soft spot for someone, you feel special affection for them.
Maybe it's your little sister.
Maybe it's your grandfather.
Maybe it's even that one friend who is always late, but somehow you can never stay mad at them.
Exactly. You just have a soft spot for them.
And that's such a human thing.
It really is. Because relationships are not only about conflict and confusion.
They're also about tenderness.
About the people who make us softer.
The people we naturally want to protect.
The people whose name on our phone can change our whole mood.
And speaking of support, here's another idiom I really like. Bend over backwards for someone.
That means you try very, very hard to help them.
You make a huge effort for them.
For example, she bent over backwards to help her friend.
And I think one of the best feelings in life is knowing somebody genuinely tries for you.
Not perfectly,
Right. Not perfectly.
but sincerely.
That matters so much.
Because a healthy relationship isn't about perfection.
It's about effort.
Can we trust each other?
Can we be honest?
Can we show up?
Can we try again after a bad conversation?
Now, let's talk about those bad conversations. Have you ever talked to someone and felt like the conversation just kept moving, but nothing was getting clearer?
Yes, and it's exhausting.
In English, we can say two things here. First, talk at cross purposes.
This means two people are talking, but they are not truly understanding each other.
The second one is go round in circles.
Meaning you keep discussing something, but you don't reach a solution.
That happens in relationships all the time.
You repeat the same issue,
The same frustration,
the same examples,
the same defense.
and after 20 minutes, or an hour, or 3 years,
You realize nothing is changing.
and that can feel heartbreaking.
Because sometimes both people are talking a lot.
But neither one feels understood. There's also an idiom for when things are unclear or undecided. Leave things up in the air.
So if someone says, we left things up in the air, it means nothing was clearly decided.
And emotionally, that's a hard place to live.
Very hard.
Because clarity brings peace.
Even if the truth is difficult.
Uncertainty can be so draining.
Especially in close relationships.
Friendships, romantic relationships, family tension.
When things are left up in the air, people often start guessing.
And when we guess too much, we usually imagine the worst.
So maybe that's the real heart of today's episode. Relationships don't only survive because people care.
They survive because people communicate.
Because they clarify.
Because they slow down.
Because they say, I think we got our wires crossed.
Because they admit, I got the wrong end of the stick.
Because they notice when they're keeping someone at arm's length.
And sometimes they're brave enough to say, I still have a soft spot for you.
That's beautiful.
It is.
Before we finish, let's do a quick idiom recap.
Let's do it.
Get on like a house on fire.
To connect very well, very quickly.
Go back a long way.
To have known someone for a long time.
Have a soft spot for someone.
To feel special affection for them.
Keep someone at arm's length.
To keep emotional distance.
Get your wires crossed.
To misunderstand each other.
Get the wrong end of the stick.
To misunderstand a situation.
Talk at cross purposes.
To talk without really understanding each other.
Go round in circles.
To keep discussing something without reaching a result.
Leave things up in the air.
To leave something unclear or undecided.
So, if you're listening today and thinking about someone in your life,
Maybe this is your reminder to be a little clearer, a little softer, and a little more honest.
not every problem means the relationship is broken.
Sometimes people just get their wires crossed.
Sometimes they care more than they know how to say.
And sometimes one warm conversation can change everything.
Thanks for being here with us.
And thanks for learning with us.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Take care.